So we're gonna. This is an
shit.
actual
We were
podcast.
rolling, okay.
No, we are. It's a, dude, I always turn the camera on from whatever. Right, this is. We're starting a podcast. This is not exactly round. Hello,
Hello. This is a real podcast.
Jason and Warren, with some beer and some pizza. That's exactly how things roll around
I'm
here.
a level head this time.
Yeah, because we were talking about, like, before we cut the camera on and we started talking about trying to get people to say them birds, buddy, which I'm probably going to say several times now.
And it can also be used for them burrs.
Yeah, them birds, yeah. We were talking about hockey and whatnot, but we might podcast about sports later and everything. And there's sort of a tie-in here, but video games. I don't think we've done a video game podcast. We've done movies and we've touched on it. It's been in podcasts, but
we mentioned a couple here and there.
it was mainly on like stuff from video games, I think.
Yeah.
We talked about like Silent Hill and whatnot. But we were talking about sports video games. And I was just, kind of thinking like, hey, let's talk about some video games that we played as a kid. Like I still occasionally, I've got an Xbox over there. I like blowing things up.
Yeah.
So, as many of you do out there.
I'm not like super nerdy into the retro stuff.
Right.
But I cannot resist. Nothing entertains me more than a good side scroller, and they don't make them like now. They'll make them look like 8-bit retro to be cool. Like when they make them, like the newer ones. But like I loved those ones back then when I was younger. Like they were so like polished, and they still hold up.
Yeah.
Like we were just talking about one. I think it was like, was it Turtles in Time, the arcade version?
I think so. Yeah.
At first, they only had it on the arcade machine. That like you had one in like a bowling alley. Or
Yeah, well, because there wasn't enough. The consoles didn't have enough RAM.
Yeah, and then I think it got released on the Super Nintendo, maybe.
I believe so. I remember the one being on the Sega Genesis.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I was.
I
always
skipped
big
a lot of
into
those
Sega.
mid consoles. I went from the first gen Nintendo
That had a really good Ninja Turtles game on it.
all the way. I went from that straight to the Sega Genesis, and then straight from the Sega Genesis to the Nintendo 64. And then I backtracked and went to the original PlayStation, and then I got a GameCube.
Dude, GameCube, I never owned one, but one of my friends had one. They had some amazing Star Wars games on the GameCube.
Yeah, they fucking did.
That, like, no one else was getting. Like, because at first on the PlayStation 2, like, the only Star Wars games they brought out was, like, Star Wing Fighter, and it's like, fuck off. Like,
Yeah, dude.
like, you start,
horrible.
like, you're not gonna put a lightsaber in my hand, basically. Like, you're gonna put me in a spaceship. Like, this could be Star Fox, and I liked Star Fox.
Star Fox was fun, yeah. I remember the Star Fox 64, the very first
man.
one, dude. That was such... I was an addict. Like, I'd go over to my friend's house and just play it.
Again, have you ever played, like a game that really changed things was, what really blew my mind was Mario 64.
Yeah, the almost free roaming
world.
open world kind of
Like,
thing. Yeah.
so far ahead of its time, and so satisfying. Even as a kid, you don't realize that you accomplished nothing. Because I tried replaying that game, because I have the PSP, and there's an emulator on there for the 64,
Mm-hmm.
and I got it on there. I was so good at this game, and then I realized that I pretty much did 0 missions at all. Like, I accomplished shit.
Yeah, just walked
I
around.
just walked around, drowned Mario a couple times in the moat.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
and just the detail in it, like the start screen with Mario's face, and like you move the thing and it pull his mustache and shit. I was just like, wow.
Yeah,
This
that
is
was
incredible.
I remember being astonished from the graphics jump from Nintendo 64 to the GameCube.
Oh yeah.
Like I felt like the GameCube and the N64 came out almost like within the same kind of amount of time frame. Like it wasn't very long.
No, yeah, really.
Like it was. It felt like almost 10 years between Sega Genesis and Nintendo 64, but I don't think it was. But it was like you had those things, like a lot of 8-bit, some 16-bit stuff, 32-bit stuff in the latter half of like Dreamcast and stuff like and those things, and PS1, and then GameCube came out, and it was like polished.
Yeah.
I remember Dave Mira.
Oh shit.
Dave Mira BMX.
I never played it on the GameCube. I was playing it on the PS2. I also had Matt Hoffman's one. There was a lot of competition in the BMX.
Ryan Nyquist had one.
Oh, dude. Like the skateboarding ones were
R.I.P.
cool.
Dave Mira.
I know. The skateboarding ones, like Tony Hawk, of course, were like groundbreaking. But as soon as I discovered that the BMX ones existed, oh man,
yeah,
it was just so much cooler to me.
Because I couldn't skateboard, so I had nothing, and then I was like, I rode BMX, and then all of a sudden that came out, and I was like, I know this, yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a really, it was a really like when you look back now and you play those two, because I have both of them, like I said, on the PSP. You realize that they're the exact same game.
No, yeah,
they're all the exact same game.
Literally the exact
it's
same
just
game.
this guy's on a bike, and so the grabs are a little bit, but the buttons are pretty much the same. Like, there was one of them where they decided to be different. They didn't want to be a copy, so they changed all the controls, and it's like impossible to play.
Yeah.
I tried it; it's impossible. But yeah, no, those games were really, really good.
Or SSX Tricky, remember that
Dude,
shit?
I love that.
That was for the game. I got that for the GameCube.
The,
It took me like 2 years to figure out that you could, like, I didn't know how people were doing all these crazy flips and spins, but it took me like 2 years to figure out you could charge the guy, like, and push the D-pad down, and then he would just go, yeah. So I was like, fuck, like, I went from yeah, exactly. Like, I had no idea until my buddy Mike was like, yeah, you could do this. You didn't know that? I'm like, fuck, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
They were so, that's what's kind of lost now, is because how you look at how many games came out for all these consoles compared to the games that are coming out, like, quantity-wise now. Because it's so business-minded now, it's like, no one's interested in this. But it's like, you don't always really play, now people do, but back then you didn't play games in stuff that you was interested in. How many times have you been in a fucking fight to the death tournament?
No.
You know, like never, but it was one of the most popular games.
How many times were you like a Spec Ops sniper?
Yeah.
Never, ever in my life.
Like,
but
no,
still.
this is like, so they try and do things off of like people's personal interest, but like a game like Tony Hawk, like most of the people who bought that game and played that game, like just religiously followed that thing, knew who he was after buying the game, but didn't skate. Like,
no, nobody.
You know, just liked playing the game. Same with most of the BMX games. It's just, that's what they need to do, man. I can't believe, like, look at the graphics. Like, can you imagine the BMX game they could make now if they like re-polish that shit? Oh my god.
I don't know. Like that would be insane. I have no idea why they never did that. I'd have been totally behind that. I'd have bought every single one of them.
Who should do it? If you haven't played it, you definitely should pick up a copy. I don't know if it's on the Xbox. I can't remember if it came out on the Xbox, but there's this motocross franchise, MX versus ATV.
Yeah.
And they have, the best one I've played was Reflex. Alive I didn't like very much, but in Reflex it's like the motocross aspect of it is like you have complete control. Like you have the clutch, the accelerator, this analog stick controls where you distribute your body weight. This one controls the handlebars, so you can get like real tight corners and shit and keep your speed. And it's a bitch to master, but once you get comfortable with it, it's so fucking satisfying. And that's exactly how they should do the BMX one.
Oh yeah, it should be
like skate. Like
yeah.
It should be like skate.
That's what I love. That's what was such a game changer about Skate, is the fact that it wasn't a button combination or something like that. Yeah. It was literally the thumbstick did everything. Pop an ollie, a nollie, or anything.
Man, the thing I loved about Skate was in Tony Hawk, this is probably why a lot of people hated skating, was because in Tony Hawk's you press this button and he does this.
Mm-hmm.
Then you think, I'm gonna get a skateboard, and you realize that
that just doesn't
thing
work.
to do is a thing in itself. Like, it takes time to learn that. It takes, like, you're gonna fall on your ass doing that.
Several
And
times.
that's what I liked about skate. It was more of like a thing where it's like a beginner couldn't, like, to learn the ollie and skate was still like, you know, you pick it up pretty quick, but still it was like you had to learn it.
Yeah, you had to learn it, had to time it, and grinding in that was
man.
non-trivial at first. Like Skate 1, the physics engine that they had on that was like, if you didn't hit the rail, you were on your ass.
Yeah,
like, they made it easier in Skate 2 and 3 to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like they spent more time on the open world aspect of it too for the two after. But the physics that they did for the very first Skate was just, it was awesome. I felt like it was way ahead.
That is where the games like change, because I'm still a sucker for like certain games, like I just said, the 2 side scrollers, shit like that. Golden Axe, those games, man, I love
Metal
it.
Slug.
Oh, fuck.
I spent so much money in the arcade playing Metal Slug.
One of my favorites of all time that I really want the arcade machine for is fucking Splatterhouse.
Oh yeah, the
And-
shooter.
Wait, is it Splatterhouse? I think it is Splatterhouse. It's the one where you're basically Jason Voorhees, I think, and you're like, it's a side scroller, but horror themed.
Huh.
So you've got
I
like a
don't think
machete,
I've-
and it's just monsters coming at you, and you
Oh,
just have
shit.
to make it through the level, and it's like slash. It's just really satisfying. I'm like, I think they did try and make an upgraded version of it. I
Yeah.
imagine it would be pretty good. Like the new Doom game.
Oh,
you ever
Doom! That game has grown by leaps and bounds.
Have you
It's
seen
ridiculous.
the newest one? It looks terrifying.
It's gnarly as
yeah.
hell.
They do
like,
it in VR as well.
oh
That's
fuck
like
that!
one game
No
that was-
way.
Yeah, but that's amazing though, because it's like that's what it felt like. Like that's what I like about that, is that kids play that now. Like, oh man, that's intense. That's what it used to be. That's not shit.
Yeah.
Like no, that shit was just as intense as this. Like
No, yeah,
when
it
you
was.
first played that. Like, did you ever play Dino Crisis?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
Dino
Like,
Crisis was literally that.
Life or death situation.
Absolutely.
That's what I had that conversation with you last weekend. Like, do you ever have that thing where you're watching something in a movie and a guy's in a life or death situation? You're like, yeah, I know what that feels like when you're about to die, but you don't.
Yeah.
It's because of video games. It's because you were in a room one time with a raptor and you were
Yeah.
just like, holy shit! And
Yeah,
dropped
you
the
were.
pad.
Yeah, you were in the. You went down the wrong hallway and were face to face with Oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got that. The first time I ever experienced that was a game called Zero Tolerance for Sega Genesis. It's literally it's one of the first person shooters.
Oh shit!
One of the first. It coincided with Doom and all of those, like Duke Nukem and shit like that.
Okay.
But it was like this. It was this game where you were like a surviving member of this crew that's ship or something got taken over by this alien race, and you had to navigate the hallways. That you had like a shotgun, and there were like pistols and stuff, and there was all kinds of things. And it was really super, like, it was just a track game, and it was a horizon game. Like, the hallways had a horizon to it, and that's how they created the distance, and things would just come over, like, it was horrible shit. Like, it was all 8-bit and not...
You didn't know that then.
No.
Like, back then it was... That's what blows my mind about revisiting stuff like that. Because you're like, really? Because, like, that thing used to scare the death out of me.
Yeah, it used to get, like... There were, like, boss battles and stuff that I could not play. Like, it was just... It was too intense and too scary. I couldn't do it.
What?
And now looking back at it, it's like... You look at gameplay on YouTube and, like... Fucking really?
Did you ever play the Rugrats game on the PlayStation 1?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, man.
I
That
need a
was
slice of
satisfying.
pizza.
Oh, yeah. Not a problem. Yeah, that was a
Also check
satisfying
where-
game. I mean... the cool thing about these, like the ones we're talking about, like, because I was super into Mortal Kombat,
I was big into
but mine is Street
Mortal
Fighter.
Kombat.
I love Street Fighter. I love it so much. I don't know why, because like the game itself,
There was
like,
more humans in it.
there's a lot of lore to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But none of it was in the game. So as a kid, I don't know these people, but you just still get attached to them. Like Ryu was the shit. Like I know that's
that
like
was the dude.
yeah, it's just like this is the guy. Like learned all of his moves. What I liked about it was that everyone was very different in how you fight with them. Whereas like a game like Tekken, if you ever played that,
Uh-huh.
it's like everyone's pretty much the same.
Yeah,
Just-
they're all, you can use all the same button combinations that used to do different things.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to pick up, but Street Fighter is still fucking like really fucking hard to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just you get that same like that thing where you're just like I'm gonna destroy this computer
Yeah.
if I keep losing. Like
Well, I think one of the coolest things that I see with video games nowadays, because I like first-person shooters just because they're something simple to get into,
dude,
but I would be really digging the third-person open-world stuff like Ghost Recon,
Yeah.
Wildlands. I've been playing the living shit out of that. I already beat it. I just recently tried gold for the first time, so I've been doing some 4v4 stuff, which those dudes are fucking insane. I'm like nowhere near. I maybe kill one person and get douched, but
I've got the Division, which was
I heard
the one
that was really
before
good.
that. It is good. The enemies aren't the smartest, but as things go on, and they're bullet sponges, so you need
Mhm.
to have the highest weapon. They'll take like 10 shots to the head, some of them. But what the enemy lacks in intelligence, they eventually gain in numbers.
Right, yeah.
So it equals out, and
That's what I...
it's a cool to be. There's not many urban warfare
No.
games like that, and you're in like you start off in Boston and shit. You know what I mean? It's like
Mhm.
very real looking,
Mhm.
and the way that it works. And when you get online, it's cool as well because you bump into people and you don't trust them because you're just like.
Well, no, that's where people have been creating clans and stuff and basically just wiping people
Yeah,
out.
if you go into like the red zone, I think it's called.
It's like The Walking Dead.
People are yeah, you just cannot go there by yourself. Like they
Yeah.
will just kill you and
Take your
you'll-
shit.
Yeah, you'll be done. But the one that you need to look out for, there was a free weekend on PlayStation for Tom Clancy's Siege. Oh my god, man, that game. I got fucking mullered all weekend on that, but I still had so much fun because I knew that if I bought that game and put the time in to learn all the
Yeah.
shit that you have to do, it's so in depth. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can do like it's hostage situations, it's raids, it's fucking, you know, protecting hostages like on the other side. So there's no like for most of the situations when you play online, there's no AI.
Right.
It's this group of people trying to protect them, and they can put like barbed wire down. And if you walk into it, like you can't really move very fast. You can reinforce walls so explosives can't come through, but you only have so many. Like, oh man, it was just super
That's
intense,
crazy.
and it's really it is like it's hard doing even the AI missions, man. Like some of the hostage situations where it's like get to this room, you're like okay, I'll do it this way. You get so far through, it's like bang, you're dead. It's like, fuck. And you start in the same place. It's just this huge, intricate, like really well thought out map of a mansion, and it's like a maze, and it's all fucked up, and you can't find your way around properly. So it takes a long time to. But I can imagine how satisfying it is playing that game for a long time and then getting that first situation that you do first time.
Yeah.
Just being like, now I'm.
It's like Hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the thing I was digging. Like my buddy turned me on to Wildlands when I first got the Xbox, and I was really into it because it was like the best of both worlds. It was like Call of Duty and GTA.
Yeah.
It was an open world thing, and it wasn't like stupid, but I enjoyed the fact that you could act as an operator and literally do whatever the hell that you wanted to do. you could just go around and you can complete missions. You can not complete missions. You can go and skip ahead and do stuff like that and backtrack. But what they have right now is they've introduced the Predator to Wildlands, and you can download it and have just like the Predator missions. But what I've done, had no idea that they were doing this. It surprised the hell out of me. I restarted a campaign mode.
Right.
I completed it once and I restarted it again with a new character and everything. And as you creep up into Bolivia, they're this color yellow arrows that are your missions. But I saw this one that was a triangle shape. Like the laser sight. I'm like, what the hell is that? And it says when you investigate it, it is just the mission's called The Jungle Came Alive. And it's like they've integrated the Predator into your career is to dismantle the Bolivian cartel, but now you have to potentially save a rebel force from the fucking Predator.
Why is that not a movie?
I don't know.
Why is that not a movie? Like, I liked Predators.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was really cool. But like, if you had it like a movie where like this elite force goes into and they're in the middle of a siege and then all of a sudden they just like see that
Mm-hmm.
that holographic sort of
It would be an
wave.
interesting like come together moment too.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no, you're an asshole, and you all think I'm an asshole, but there's that. Like, we need to...
And then the loose links in your team die off, the loose links in their team die off,
Mhm.
and you create this like force, and you're just forced to
We
work
just need
together.
to think about that stuff.
That's incredible. Yeah, that's awesome. That's what I love about that generation that grew up with those games that we talked about, like the early gen games, and like the movie influences and shit. And they're all coming together now. Like,
Yeah, I
that's
think it's
why you
awesome.
have
It's
like
really-
DC games with DLC for Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
That's why you have,
Huge bright
Predator and
future on that stuff.
dude. That's why I never understood why Call of Duty. They have this huge thing with zombies. Why not aliens? Why not like they could have infinite possibilities?
Mhm.
Terminator.
Oh,
So
yeah.
instead of having a ton of things to survive from, just have one person trying to kill you for unlimited rounds and see how long you can survive.
Yeah. Well, that's the Predator thing. That's what we'll reconvene. But that's what the Predator thing is. When you download that, you literally have to survive.
That's awesome.
He hunts you the whole time.
That's so cool.
You drop into this area of Bolivia that he has claimed, and you just try to see how long you can last and try to kill him.
Yeah, I'm in.
It's
That's
awesome.
fucking awesome.
Well, that was hey, we actually completed a podcast.
We did.
Warren.
We did that. That's
And
what
it
that
was-
feels like.
And it was concise, and we had it was good.
I'm proud of ourselves.
For in the spring, we've got skateboards.
Yeah.
So
We picked the wrong time of year to begin that.
yeah,
Right.
we did.
All the stuff is still there. I might actually have more material to work with as well, because
Mhm.
we're doing a huge reset. I'm working overnight on Sunday, and they're tearing down a whole bunch of shit, and I'm gonna just take all of their stuff.
And we'll also have more minute build stuff and probably some more beer thoughts because that was
Mhm.
funny. Later.